Friends, again, this week we are in grief. Last week we mourned the 13 people shot in cold blood in Buffalo, New York. The gun that killed them had names of white supremacists etched on it, and a hate-fueled manifesto against people of color was unearthed in the killer's home. This week, 19 children were killed by another gunman we are yet to understand. Both gunmen were nearly children themselves at 18 years old. The massacre in Uvalde, Texas feels a world away for some, but for us, in reality, it is only 360 miles from the doors of the church. And we have all been in small town Texas like Uvalde, towns that seem half forgotten and struggling to make ends meet. We know how the city hall or the courthouse stands in the center of town, how signs supporting the high school football team adorn benches and in the windows of the stores, and how the wind whips down the main street like the pickup trucks. Today, I suspect there is a stillness in that town that no one can unseat. And today we grieve with the families of children who were murdered there. We also watch as our governor and state officials scramble to find anything with integrity to say about this moment. They are the same people who voted to deregulate handgun ownership and take money from the National Rifle Association and post challenges on Twitter for Texans to outpace Californians in gun purchasing. And they were the same people who will appear to be grieving with these families they have likely put on the precipice of this horror. Our outrage at white supremacist, white racist diatribes that led to mass shootings thousands of miles away is the same outrage we have for those who lead with hypocrisy and pivot from consoling grieving families to stating that the strategy is to arm teachers. Our pain in this moment is reflected in our work to make our church and lives more equitable around race. Our commitment is to continue to address what we can, to name what we see, and not to back down for fear of retribution. To claim the moral courage that points out how we are so often sold a bill of goods by those in power who only gain more by strife and agony in our communities. We will turn our rage and our grief into commitments to end gun violence, to ensure reproductive rights, to work on issues of poverty and racial equity because we must. We will not be silenced or condemned for addressing how white supremacy ends lives, creates more poverty, and weighs us down with a millstone of complacency for our own safety and rights, all while not giving in to the sport of demonizing of each other. We will not demonize each other. And this is a difficult moment in our country and in Texas. So let us grieve. Let us also commit that we will not be idle while we are told that all is well, or that we will be safer if there are more guns in our communities, or healthier while the rights of our bodies are taken away. We will be strong, and we will be faithful to our values, and we will also not give up on the fights that are ahead of us.